Welcome to the Wealth Accumulation Channel. One of the Big Four accounting firms, KPMG. The latest research report shows Australian property market will be in June 2024, before fiscal year end, up 4.9%. In the next year, rose again by 9.4%. KPMG makes forecasts every year, so this prediction is different. How detailed is the time? What city? How much will the price of what type of property increase? The level of detail in the predictions is staggering. Heard the news. The happiest people are those who have already bought a house. People who are buying houses and agents. What about the most unhappy thing? Those are the doomsday patients. And how to work hard. I haven't saved enough money. People who can't afford a house. Housing prices in the current market are already very expensive. I can't afford to buy a house and the rent is so high. Real estate market crisis. What about this crisis? Maybe it can only be solved by letting house prices rise. And short-term solutions will prepay the entire economy. Everyone's future wealth. It's just that the crisis comes later. When the name KPMG is mentioned, it gives people a very powerful and domineering look. It feels very professional to say the least. It was after I graduated that year. My application has been rejected many times. One of the 4 largest auditing companies in the world. Their analysis report and predictions are definitely worth a look. According to KPMG's latest major cities in Australia real estate report shows, next 9 months, house prices across the country will rise by 4.9%. Then before June 2025. Another surge of 9.4%. Apartment prices across the country will rise next year. Before June. Average increase of 3.1%. Then in the next. 6% growth in 12 months. However, the increase in various regions will be different. Which house prices in Perth? The increase will be the highest. Reached 8.4%. But in fiscal year 2025, Hobart set to overtake other cities. The increase will reach 14.2%. Over the next 2 years, apartment prices rise in Hobart will be ahead of all other capital cities. Increases of 8.7% and 10% respectively. Followed by Sydney, Melbourne and Adelaide. In addition to specific forecast numbers, the report also analyzes several market situations. They will interact. Future market trends have a significant impact, even though the interest rate is relatively high. But in the short term, supply constraints may dominate. Factors affecting real estate prices. And in fiscal year 2024. In most markets, causing prices to continue to rise. Due to scarcity of land, approval numbers drop, as well as a slowdown in construction activity and rising costs. Prices for villas and apartments. In the next financial year, growth will further accelerate. Supply issues combined with several other factors. For example, the housing shortage caused by increased immigration. Push up asset prices. Expected to be in fiscal year 2025. That is July 2024. By June 2025. Will lower interest rates and relax loan conditions. At this time, rents continue to rise. But buying a house has become easier. So renters turn to buying houses. Need to expand again. Let developers build homes faster. can't even keep up with the market, thereby accelerating the increase in housing prices. The report also said, if you want to take advantage of the rising rent, pull back to normal level. Number of residential buildings completed must be better than currently predicted. 76% higher. So unless immigrants and international students, number of people arriving in Australia was greatly reduced, it is impossible for rents to fall. We all know Australia. There is a serious shortage of labour force. At the same time, there is a lack of motivation for economic growth. Both of these rely on large numbers of immigrants. Therefore, reducing the number of immigrants is not feasible in the near future. Then rents will increase for sure. Rising rents will drive up housing prices. The above is the report. The general content is summarized. What if you are interested? You can go to the KPMG website to see for yourself. But the interesting thing is, pages cited by all media. They are all KPMG's media release pages. That is KPMG. Channels used to promote and inform the media. Also called news bulletin. To put it bluntly, it's just a press release. Browse the KPMG website. The original analysis report was not found either. Then to find the source of information. And KPMG analysis report. All arguments and model analysis. And even called specifically KPMG's media PR department. By the time this video is finalized, no reply received. It seems that in addition to the conclusions released by KPMG, there's probably nothing we can do. See the report itself. I'm afraid the process of deriving the conclusion is impossible to examine. In fact, the predictive nature of KPMG, similar to the four major banks. Just give a conclusion. Time points and numbers. How was it derived? All agency forecasts. The most powerful so far. Just guess the right direction. How much will it rise or fall by when? I've never guessed it right. Even many institutions. In the dark history of prediction, there are also those who guessed in the wrong direction. For example, let's assume the market will plummet in the next 12 months. Then the market bottomed out in the 8th month and so on. That was like September this year. Published by PropTrack. Australian Property Market Forecast. It's very joyful. What about PropTrack? Sydney Property Market Forecast for 2023. Previously, it was forecast to fall by 9% to 12%. Now the prediction has changed. Sydney Market, 2023. Will rise 3% to 6%. Then this kind of prediction is too arbitrary, right? Their article. Maybe some kid who just graduated. In order to hurry up and make a business trip. Just write whatever you want. But things like house price prediction. It won't be surprising if you've seen it more often. But like KPMG. Such detailed predictions. It's the first time I've seen it. What about economists' predictions? Most people want to see. Just predict the market direction. Accuracy in other aspects is very low. Rising house prices can solve the housing market crisis. With house prices rising. To solve the real estate market crisis. Sounds incredible. But what about this idea? It does follow the laws of economics. Probably in the short to medium term. The best way to solve the problem. The current Australian property market. What is the cause of the crisis? It's explosive population growth. An ultra-low supply of new housing. Population growth is Australia's necessary to maintain economic growth. This is understandable. But the supply of new homes, why can't you keep up? The reason is that there are different opinions. Some say the government approval process is too slow. Developers need to lengthen. Land hoarding time increases costs. Some say it's because building material cost and rising labor costs. Therefore, the developers deliberately did not build. And various media fields, especially many buyers' agents. Just because of my business model. By helping buyers make money buying second-hand houses. So I say there are all kinds of bad things about new houses. Take advantage of various opportunities to hack developers. Builder construction quality. What other new house is more expensive than a new house? Wait for this statement. So these are all, in a subtle way, for those who are not firm-minded. People without the ability to judge for themselves are brainwashed. That one has become popular on YT recently. A building inspector specializes in those with poor construction quality. Those houses exposed. Why? Because of human nature. Everybody likes to see bad things. Say a house has good construction quality. Where is anyone watching? So we are in the field of self-media. What to see about the developer? Builder content for new homes. Mostly negative. This also aggravates people's cognitive biases. Let more people ignore it. Is it suitable for you? They all choose to grab second-hand houses. In fact, various properties. Suitable for all kinds of people. What about real estate investment? There is no one-size-fits-all formula. Applies to everyone. So you analyze. Is there a reason why the supply cannot keep up? That's right, it's profit. Don't let investors make money. No one buys investment properties. There are few people buying houses and the cost is high. Don't let developers and builders make money. No one is going to develop the land and build houses. Only encourage real estate investment. Make the real estate market more active. Push up property prices. What about the same time? Keep material costs under control. Labor cost, land hoarding cost. Make developers and builders more profitable. Only then can this game be revitalized. Naturally increase housing supply. What about the above method? It can only increase the supply of housing. That could alleviate the rental crisis we're experiencing. But house prices are still rising. People still can't afford houses. That's the term everyone hears. Poor affordability. Not one yet. Fundamental solution. So in my opinion, the problem of people unable to afford a house due to high housing prices. In the short term it can be relieved. But the price is sacrificing economic health. Push up housing prices in disguised form. For example, in terms of fiscal policy. Borrowing by the government. Or overtax. Financial subsidies to support. Send money directly so more people can afford houses. Build more affordable housing and public housing. Or in terms of monetary policy. Provided to the lower class. More cash and credit. Let more people afford houses. Actually it's like give people a shot of stimulant. Overdraw future wealth. At the same time, it pushed up housing prices. Then use this later. Short-term stimulation methods. Becoming more and more difficult. There will come a time when I can't play anymore. There is another way. It is to make Australia's overall wealth. Or an increase in per capita wealth. Disruptive innovation. Significantly improve production efficiency. Increase in wealth. Only people can afford houses. Then this is the healthiest way. Can fundamentally solve the problem. But it is also the slowest and most difficult one to take effect. The number of new immigrants to Australia is soaring, solving the labour shortage problem, while pushing up Australia's GDP. It also caused Australia's per capita GDP to decline, dragging Australia into a recession in GDP per capita. So in the long run, more immigrants. In the end, it is to improve the living standards of Australians. Still declining. It's really an unknown. The rest can be given to Australia. Ways to bring wealth. For example, the export industry. Heavy reliance on iron ore, coal and lithium. And educational output. Australia will go through a period of transformation. From reliance on Chinese demand to diversification. Development with India and economic exchanges among Southeast Asian countries. Looking for new flashpoints. But this process. How much time is required? What's the result? We'll just have to wait and see. Suddenly received a letter from the government that had been in power for 9 years. News of Victoria Governor's resignation. This makes me happy. During his term of office, Melbourne has the longest lockdown in the world. Screwed up Melbourne economy. The government owes huge debts. Cancelling the Commonwealth Games is a shame. They also introduce policies in different ways. Crack down on real estate investment. So it's right to resign. A good result for him. Just don't know. The new governor of Victoria. What kind of policies will be implemented? If the policy continues. Melbourne property market. Still the same. There will be a lot of pressure. If you see this, please help me like and subscribe. Forward to your friends. Wealth Accumulation Channel helps you succeed in real estate investment in Australia. See you next time. Bye bye.